All right. I'm Ezra McNeill, and welcome to the very first episode of Ezra Unscripted, where there's no script, no filter, just real conversations. Now, I want to set the record straight. I'm not a guru. I'm not perfect. I'm just a guy who's choosing to speak his truth out loud. And this show is about the stuff that we don't post. It's about the doubts. It's about the discipline. It's about the moments that shape us when no one's watching. So I'm not here to perform. I'm here to be present. Some days you hear about the wins. Other days you hear about the losses that became lessons. But just know that every episode is very real. So if you're tired of the highlight reels, if you're building something bigger than likes, and if you're becoming someone you've never been before, you're in the right place. Now, let's get into it. This has been 5 years in the making. 5 whole years in the making. And I don't even know where to begin. But this is long overdue. But I guess God has his perfect timing. No, let me not say that. Of course, God has his perfect timing, but sometimes we get in our own way for what God is trying to do. And I think this is one of those things. So this is a public rebuke to myself for not doing this a while ago. But we're here now. It's better to do it later than to just not do it at all. So let's start from the beginning. Who is Ezra McNeill? I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Long Island, New York, Nassau County, Westbury, New York, to be exact. And I always had a knack for conversations, television, or wanting to be on TV, wanting to have a platform, et cetera, et cetera. And that kind of gave me the push, especially when I was in college. Shout out to Virginia State University, Hale State, where I got my bachelor's in mass communications. During that time, I did a whole bunch. I was on the radio. I helped out with Mass Comm Club a little bit, started my own thing with some friends. And I started my very first podcast called Real Talk with Ezra, if you know, you know. And that was where we had real issues, real people, real talk. And it was a good run. I'll say it was a great run. But with COVID and stuff like that, I kind of got tired. Also, during that whole process, I was trying to get my name out there. I was very green. I wanted to just build a platform for myself so I can network and talk to people and, get to know people, but not to really dive into the things that folks were dealing with, like in real life. And in the midst of that, of course, with COVID and what have you, I was blessed enough to work in a couple of industries, starting out in TV as a production assistant and working on a couple of shows, being able to get my name on credits and things like that. Outside of that, I worked in, sports with sports sales and recruitment and a whole bunch of stuff. So I've seen it all. Even in the midst of that, starting my own brand with some friends from college that we'll dive into some episodes later. But through it all, I knew I wanted to come back and to make another show. And God put this on my heart a minute ago, but I was being so disobedient. Like, it was utterly ridiculous on how disobedient I was. And I think it was because I wanted to be perfect. But there's no perfect person, and there's never a perfect moment. You just got to do it. And I think that's the whole point of of faith and what have you, to just listen and do it. Just dive off the deep end and just know that he's going to help you float to the top. So once again, that was my mistake of not doing this sooner, but we're here now, you know. And to kind of backtrack, I was very green. I didn't live through life, really, so the conversations were very, very shallow in a sense. Just had great friends of mine and people that I met along the way that were, I guess, quote unquote, experts in their respected fields. And we just had dialogue. But this is completely different. 28, I've lived a little bit, and I've been through some hell and high water. And I think there's no better time than now to have these conversations that I've had behind closed doors with family, with friends, and who I will have now with you guys, who are willing and able to listen to me, if you guys like me enough. So here we are. Now is the perfect time, especially with all the stuff and crap that's happening in the world. There's too many voices. There's too many voices with many people not saying anything. So I just want to be somebody who you guys can confide in. I don't want nothing from you. I just want your ear. And I want you to understand that you're not alone. And we're going to walk through this journey called life together. So I'm very excited. Very, very, very excited for this whole thing to really flourish and become something. I think another reason why this kind of took so long was just trying to figure who's going to be in my corner, that really believes in it, and not because of, certain people that I may be connected to and things of that nature. So, I know he hates it, but I want to give a shout out to my podcast producer, Julian McCall, King Jules, if you will, for believing in me, seeing the vision, and just being my right-hand man on this whole thing. With the podcast before too, I was not on video. This years ago, this was not on my list of things to do. So this is totally new. I was never wanting to show my face, but he's like, no, we got to do it. So thank you for everything. I was trying to build this office in my house to make this like a podcast studio and stuff like that, and he was helping me along the way. And it was just a whole bunch of stuff. Amazon, whole bunch of stuff. Shout out to Home Goods. That was too much information, but it is what it is. I'm nervous, so here we are. Referring back to Julian, he had we were having a conversation last week, because this episode was supposed to be recorded last week, but there were some unforeseen mishaps. But during the conversation, he had gave me some questions that he wanted me to answer, and I think it is the perfect opportunity to answer them on here. I did, but just to dive into them more, so you guys really just could hear my heart, and to know, what I'm wanting to do with this podcast and things like that. So I didn't want to be before you long. I didn't have too much to say, but this is what we're looking to do with the show. So, sorry, I wrote the questions down and had my answers, and we're just gonna riff off of them. But Here we go. So the first question, he says, what does it mean to show up unscripted in a world that rewards performance? It means choosing presence over being polished. It's letting your imperfections breathe instead of rehearsing a version of yourself you think people want. Showing up unscripted, is trusting that your truth, which is raw, unfinished, and human, is enough. In this day and age, there's always a reward, for the things that you do, regardless if it's a Grammy, an Oscar, Tony, Nobel Peace Prize. So many rewards for what you do. And there's nothing wrong for getting, something that you've put your hard work and your time in and things like that. But that, let's be real, we're going to leave that here when we die. And maybe for a little while, people may remember, that, and then it's just going to go away. And let's be real, who cares? like who cares about those rewards? I don't care. What I care about is, once again, making sure that the people that I'm encountering, you guys, my friends, my family, we're able to really go through this life, like making sure that everything will be okay. Because let's be real, like this life is so uncertain, and things are just up and down, and sometimes we just don't know how to navigate it. And with the folks that I have conversations with, the episodes that you'll just hear me speak, these will be moments where you can kind of just woosah and honestly be heard. That's what unscripted means to me. Just being you without a how should I say it? Being you without any type of being you without looking for or expecting a return, if you will, in a positive or a negative aspect, if that makes sense. Like just being you and knowing that it's okay just to be you. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking you for anything. I just want your ear. My guests, they want your ear. Just to hear them, or just to receive something that you may have not known or didn't know that you can utilize within your life as well. That's what that means to me. I know that was a little long-winded, but I had to get it out. This is all unscripted, if you will. Number 2, who are you when there's nothing to prove and no one to impress? Honestly, I'm a guy who's at peace and content. I'm curious, of course. I'm still ambitious, but I'm not thirsty for validation. I'm someone who values growth over applause and purpose over perception. There's been 2 sayings that I've been saying for the past couple of months. One is, I don't care. 2, I don't give a damn. What I mean by that is, who matters outside of Jesus, Jesus, the Lord himself? I'm not here for you. Well, I'm here for you, yes, as a vessel, for sure. But I'm only doing these acts for an audience of one. So, going back to the first question, with the rewards and stuff like that, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just want to make sure that the people who are able to hear my voice and Lord God himself is pleased with what I'm doing. And I'm stewarding properly what he's given to me, honestly. Outside of that, all that other stuff could really just go in the dirt, because it doesn't matter. Like, all this stuff is going to pass away one day. All this stuff is going to pass away. We can't take it with us. So the time that we have, let's do what we're supposed to do. That's it. So, yeah, that's that on that. Number 3, what parts of yourself have you been editing for public consumption? Honestly, it's the doubts, the fear, the moments when I don't have it all figured out. I've hidden the in-between stages. I've hidden the grind, the setbacks, especially when those are actually the most real parts of the journey. I used to consider myself a perfectionist. In some ways, I still do, because I do believe in excellence. Yeah, things have to be done in a proper way. You can't just go all willy-nilly on certain things. But in this moment with Ezra Unscripted, it's important to just lay it all out there. Let it all hang out. Pause. I think it is so important for the journey in its whole, in its overall, to be shown, because number one, for yourself to just see how far you have gone, and how much you've grown, but also for the next person who may be wanting to do the same thing for you, same thing as you, and even more. So I think it's important just to, my mother always says, tell the truth and shame the devil. The truth is not always pretty. The truth hurts. The truth is ugly for the most part, but it's freeing, right? And that's how a journey should be. It should be true. It should be authentic. It should just look how it looks. And a lot of people, like on social media and stuff like that, like I said in the beginning, it's all a big highlight reel. And that's not the case. We will only show that one time we won, and we will negate the 10, 15, 20 million times we've been told no, when we've got declined from a job offer, from a school, from even being told no, asking somebody on a date. We all hide that stuff, and I don't think that's fair. I mean, there's certain things like, yes, it's not everybody's business. Understanding privacy, and, respect, for certain situations, because it's not everyone's business for the most part. But when people are looking at you, even the ones that you don't know, I think it's doing a disservice to not just be your true self to those folks, and to yourself sometimes. Like, the journey is so important to show, because it's just, I don't know. For me, I've come to a point where I'm an open book. So anything that you ask me, even if I'm uncomfortable in talking about it, I know it's not even for me anymore. It's for the next person. All the things that I've gone through is for the next person, so they can know that they're not alone, and that they're capable of doing whatever they want to set their mind and heart to. So yeah, that's where I'm in. That's where I am with that. Number 4, what season of life are you in, and what is it asking of you? I'm in a building season. It's a refining season. It's asking me for discipline, patience, and consistency. Less talk, more execution, less waiting for the perfect timing, and just more action. I've this is the transparency. I come from a background in my family where there was a lot of there are well was and are a lot of folks with potential. And family, if you hear this, don't get mad at me. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. I come from a family where we have a lot of potential, honestly, in various avenues. Music. I'm a preacher's kid, so ministry. There were some athletes in the family and stuff like that. Art, you name it. But for some reason, some folks is just like, what happened? What happened? It was the shoulda, woulda, couldas and things like that. And I've come to a point in my life, and I credit my mother for this, because my mother, she's done everything that she's wanted to do. And I credit her and I respect her and I love her so much, because she's really just a great example of breaking that cycle, breaking that curse. Really, that's what it is. Of just seeing it through, and that's where I'm at. That's where I am right now. I am making myself. I'm working on making myself the most disciplined, the most consistent person I've ever been. Even with the podcast, back in college and stuff, I did a lot of stop and start. There's been so many things that I did a stop and start with. Trying to build my own fashion brands when I was a kid called Fly Nerd. Don't ask. To the podcast, to just a whole bunch of other things. A lot of stop and start. And that, I think I could be farther in life if I just kept going, regardless if there was a hurdle or things like that. Because that's what happens. That's just life, So and I said this in a previous episode, or mini episode, if you will, called Before 2026, that, I am adamant this year on just being better in those areas, like truly being more disciplined, discipline in the gym, discipline in where I put my focus, discipline on just getting stuff done, discipline on doing this, because this right here, it truly is nerve-wracking, but it is what it is. You don't grow if you're not uncomfortable, right? You don't grow when it's easy. No, the hard things, the things that push you to your brink, if you will. Those are the stuff that helps you grow. And in this season, I'm willing to do it all. No matter how good it feels, how bad it feels, I just got to keep showing up. So I'm doing the best that I can to not just say it, but just to act on it. I'll rather my actions talk than just to give you whole bunch of lip service. Because there's no more time to play around. You either do it or you don't. At this age of 28, although, some people say, hey, you're a baby, you just starting to live, stuff like that. I truly feel like I feel like I'm behind. I am. I do. I feel like I'm behind. And I'm sure someone out there understands this too. Like, I got so many ideas and projects that I want to do and start and stuff like that. But it's just that it's just playtime is over. That's all I can really say. It's playtime is over. It's either make or break, put up or shut up, regardless of what the process may look like. We just got to do the damn thing. Literally. There's nothing more to it. The most perfect example I could say right now what I'm going through is I started this 30-day no sugar thing. Well, in a nutshell, I just really took my fitness journey more serious these past couple of months. Always had like highs and lows, being in the gym for a little bit, then stopping, and being in the gym, stopping, etc. But these past couple of months have been the most disciplined I ever been. And if you've seen like my daily deposits in the gym on Instagram or on Threads, I'll get to Threads in a second. You'll understand like, yo, Ezra's putting in work. What really changed was just getting my diet together. Like I could always lift, that's the easy part, but the diet was always the difficult thing for me because I love food. I'm a fat kid at heart. Oh my goodness, I am. I could put away food like the Fat Boys, the rap group, if you know, you know. But I knew that had to change because I was stopping my process, right? So I really dialed in, and it's been a world of difference, honestly. So to fast forward to kind of this journey that I'm currently in. So before the new year, I was bugging out with the holidays, so Christmas, and I was eating about like 2 to 3, maybe 4, like cookies a day, store-bought cookies, like the soft chocolate chip ones. You know what I'm talking about, the ones from BJ's or Stop and Shop or ShopRite, Costco, if you're in a certain city where you're watching this. I was like, yo, I gotta stop because I'm delaying my process. So I was like, okay, that literally a couple of days before the new year, I was just like, yo, cold turkey, no sugar. First couple of days was tough. I can't even lie to you. But, it kind of got easier. But throughout the process, I was just documenting my process and how I was feeling each day. So on Threads, I love Threads. It's better than Twitter in my opinion, but don't comment me. Bump it. X sucks. Let's keep it a buck. But on Threads, I started documenting it on day 9. And I think I said, day 9, I am seeing sounds. Then I was like, yeah, day 10 of no sugar, I'm hearing colors. Then I said, day 11, I think I see the angel Gabriel at the foot of my bed. So just exaggerating like just how I'm feeling each day without no sugar. And when I tell you, literally, it was by the grace of God. Like, God just let everyone see it. And it blew up. Like, I think currently this is day 24. When you see this, is probably going to be day 26 or day 27. It's been nearly 2 million views from each day of no sugar. And what to bring it together is that consistency that I am pushing myself with everyone to see this progress and this process. And it's been amazing. I've met a whole bunch of people, gained followers, met a whole bunch of people hit me on the side like, hey, this is day such and such, thank you for this. Or, I'm almost seeing Jesus myself. Like, although it's funny, and to make it fun, but in the center of it, it's the consistency in pushing myself to be disciplined and to be a better version of myself that I've never seen before, right? So that's where I am. Just trying to execute and just to do it. Not really trying to wait. Just not waiting for the perfect action, perfect timing. But just doing more with my actions. I know that was long-winded, but this is me. This is what you're going to get. What can you do? Right? So, and the last question, if this space is about honesty, what would honesty require of you today? To admit where I'm still growing, to own my mistakes, to speak even when my voice shakes, and to stop shrinking parts of myself just to fit rooms I've outgrown. Once again, I am not a guru. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every single day. But I'm owning up. And I used to not do this when I was, especially in college and stuff like that. This is totally different, Ezra. I wish you don't want to know who that guy was. But if you do know, oh boy. I was not accountable. I was not responsible for my actions back then. In surface level, you would think that I had it all together, but behind the scenes, I raised a lot of hell, especially to people who didn't deserve that. But now I'm able to be honest about just when I'm wrong. I'm able to be honest I'm able to be honest and to hold myself accountable for my actions, to actually have remorse, to actually as another quote, to lay in the bed that I made, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are missing too, especially for men. I don't know what it is, but we lack accountability so bad. And I think we lack accountability with each other when we need to be sharpening each other. Proverbs in the Bible, it says iron sharpens iron. And a lot of people use that to say accountability and stuff like that. But it's not easy. It's not a pretty process. When iron is sharpening iron, the swords, the metal on metal, they're clinging and the clanging, and there's fire, sparks, and things like that. Like, it is not a pretty process, right? So to try and fluff it, and in that, I believe that fluff that a lot of guys are doing are just trying to run away from the stuff that they knew that they was wrong about. But here with me, even in my stories and the people that I'm going to be talking to on here, and, hopefully we, just start building community online and things like that. I'm just going to give it to you real. If you messed up, if you did wrong, if you should have known better. I'm trying to refrain from saying certain words because I know my mother's might be listening, but you know what I mean. So that's what I'm here doing. Especially when it comes about honesty, like just owning up to it all. What's done is done, so let's own up to it. We don't have to dwell in it, but to, of course, acknowledge it, especially for the next person, so they could kind of miss out on those potholes that we put ourselves through, right, on this road. And regardless of how it may feel, yes, it may be uncomfortable. Yes, it may hurt a lot of feelings, but that's okay. I mean, of course, for the people that, that may have been hurt by our actions and stuff like that. Of course, we need to apologize and ask for forgiveness, but, we're not going to be where we were then. All we could do is own up to it and keep moving forward. So that's what that means. And especially with on the other side of it, telling my truth, I refuse to tell my truth and to feel sorry about it. Like, what is that? What's wrong is wrong and what right is right. That's another thing that my mother would say. And if I'm in my right, I'm going to say it. Once again, why? Because I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. So if you may feel offended on some things that I may say on here with the dialogue that I have, all right, then this is not for you. But for those who are truth seekers and know what's good, we got a lot in store for you. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, I'm not gonna shy away. I'm going to be 100% authentic, and to tell my whole truth. And I want you to too. I want you to also. So yeah, I wish there was a couple of more questions, but he only gave me 5. But hopefully this gives you just an overall scope of what to expect with Ezra Unscripted. I just want y'all to know that, this really is a dream come true for me. I know this is just the first episode, but it feels so good to be back, to talk to you guys. This is a dream of mine. This is like what I feel like I've been called to do. And I've been hindering myself, and I've been doing myself an injustice, and you guys as well, to not give you what you deserve. Once again, which is just true conversations that will hopefully, with the help of God and, doing your process the way it's supposed to, whatever that may look like. But just trying to be somewhat of a help. That's it. So if it's honestly, if it's one person or a million people that can take something away from this show, I know I did my job, you know. And honestly, I kind of recant that statement. If just one person can take something away from this show, I know I did my job. If there's millions and millions, hopefully there are millions and millions. But that's just the Lord trusting me with what He's given me. But if that one person can take something and it helps them on their journey of life, my job is done. So I think that might be it. I'm looking at some notes here. I think I told you who I was. I answered the questions. Gave you a little spiel. I think we're done here tonight. Well, today, whatever. It's 12:10 a.m. on a Thursday. Let me stop. But I can't wait to see you on the next episode. We're going to have some good friends of mine, some mentors, great friends that I've met along the way, who are, some just regular Joe Schmoes, if you want to call them that. I think that they're amazing superstars to some other people who, may be of some influence. Who knows? But I'm so excited for you to walk with me on this journey, because we're locked in forever, twin, as the kids say. But if you want to know where to follow me, I'll have them in the show notes, all the social media platforms. So that's being YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, my personal TikTok, I think. Threads, if you want to see my buffoonery. That's fun. I love me some Threads. Shout out to all the people that I've met through Threads. That's the place to be. But yeah, all those links will be in the show notes. And I just want to say thank you for listening to the very first episode of Ezra Unscripted. Once again, I'm your host, Ezra McNeill, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. So, y'all have a good one. I'll see you.